Hey there, good morning. It's Tuesday morning, so Sunday did come earlier. I'm just taking this stuff off of here so I can show you what I've got done so far. All right. I decided to rebuild the spindle sander, as the title would suggest, and the case is over there. The motor assembly is here, complete, ready to go. What I did first is I added 1/4-inch plywood to the top here. Hang on, let me pull this off too. Drilled a 1 1/4-inch hole in the middle to clear the roll pin that's in here that locks into this. I can't call it a fan because all it does really is stir the dust as the thing is operating. It also supports the bottom of the disc. And I thickened up the plywood because I didn't think 1/4 inch is actually strong enough to support the thing. So I thickened up the plywood with 1/2 inch. So you can see I cut it a circle to fit around the motor to kind of lock the motor in position as well, which is more difficult because I didn't have a spindle sander to refine the curve. But I got it done and it fits good. I left that to dry overnight, but also what I did yesterday was I was experimenting with drum things. The first thing I did was I cut this disc, which is bigger than the sleeve. This is 2 1/4, this is 2. And mainly what that does is supports the bottom of the disc so it can't go down lower. Ordinarily this thing would do that, but it also does another thing. It bumps the whole spindle thing up a 1/2 inch because the top on this is going to be a 1/2 inch, so I need to make up for that. So the spindle designs I came up with, or the drum designs I came up with, first thing I need to show you are these discs that I made. Now the first thing I need to talk about is this, actually. This is the original, and go through the reasons why this is what was used, okay? First and foremost is it was single, one-piece thing. I added the plywood. That's a cheap material, and it works perfectly, as long as it stays the same shape. However, this is shrunk down to a dimension that's too small to reliably hold the sleeve. This is a 1/16 of an inch less than 2 inches. And these discs, you can compare the two, you can see it. These discs are a good fit. They're not snug, they just fit in there fairly, you know, they're just touching the sides, basically, so it slides through nice and easily. Okay, because when I first made these, they were too big and they were too snug. So I resized them. Anyway, my first idea was to make the whole thing this pinwheel type thing, every disc. And then I said to myself, do you really need to make everything? You know, why don't you just make one? So the idea would be one regular one down here, one of these. Now, that's slightly bigger. This is actually slightly bigger than the inside. It's got those cuts in there so it will collapse a little bit. They'll provide the spring tension to hold the drum in place, and that's got a really good grip when it goes in, okay? So, like, this is my first option. And I know that this will grip it, okay? So, got regular pinwheel, regular, and then a 1/2 inch one, and then the washer, which is a 3/8 inch fender washer that I drilled out with a 1/2 inch hole, and that goes down there, and it just screws on a 1/4 inch down, 1/4 inch down, and you can tighten it up real good, okay? And that's not going to slip on the spindle, and the sleeve is not going to slip on the drum, I hope. Okay, I haven't tested this yet, but it's my belief that it won't slip, okay? The only bigger issue is that this is a little bit difficult to get off when it does go on, okay? So, but that's not an issue actually, because, okay, you want to use the other side of the disc, like you're using the bottom, you take the disc, the drum off in one piece, flip it over. It doesn't matter where this pinwheel one is, it's still going to have the same grip. Although flipping it over will position the fingers in the wrong, okay, I didn't think of that. So that might be an issue. I don't know how much of a I don't know how much grip that actually has, because the idea with this is that these, on an angle like this, they not only provide the spring tension to hold the thing in place, but they also act like a feather board, okay? So that when you're, like, it'll grip the thing because it'll try to open up. That's the way a feather board works, if you're familiar with a feather board. So anyway, I was thinking about that, like I was doing that, and then I thought about, what if you had layers of rubber to put in between? So since I'm, doing this as an experiment, I went ahead and I made these. This is the inner tube that I have, though. A better choice would be something thicker, either a bigger inner tube, like I had a tractor tire inner tube before, and the thick rubber on that was at least twice as thick as this. Okay, this is really too thin, I think. Or rubber roofing, actually, that EPDM, I think it is. That is a full 1/16 of an inch thick. That would be perfect. So get your hands on that. My idea here was either stack a bunch of these in the same place as the pinwheel one, okay? And then carry on with the stack of discs on top. And then put the thing down on, the sleeve down on. It goes down over the rubber, if I can get it there. It goes down over the rubber, and then these discs crush that down so that the rubber expands out evenly all the way around, and that grips the disc. However, I don't know how effective that is either. I have to test these things. That's the reason why I'm doing it. Okay? I should also mention that I'm building this, like there's not going to be any build video for this rebuild of the spindle sander. Like I was thinking about it yesterday, and I was going to set up, and I said, how many people are going to actually do this? Not many. So the interest would be limited. So I'm taking pictures for a website article anyway. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put those in a video and just do a narration. Because I really want to do this on the fly without designing, sitting down. I want to be on my feet as much as possible, thinking on the fly, doing this like I used to do. Okay? This is way more enjoyable than, filming everything. Okay, so the other thing I was thinking about, well, okay, I didn't have the thicker rubber, but I do have this stuff here, which is foam. Okay? It's not actually rubber. It looks like rubber, it's foam. That got me thinking about the Kaizen foam that I have. I have a piece of that, and so I cut out a disc, and I think this would work to a certain extent. However, it'll crush down a lot, right? And my concern with this is that the nut will either tighten up too much or it'll back off eventually. So kind of rejected that. The other rubber that I have is this really thick stuff, which is more than 1/8 of an inch thick, but I think it's too stiff. I don't think it'll compress easily enough. Okay, I might be wrong, but I don't think it will. Because, I mean, these inner tube rubber does compress fairly easily anyway. So I think that'll give the grip that is needed. Like the other arrangement for this was to do individual ones, okay? So you got one there, you got a disc, you got one here, you got a disc, and so on and so forth, all the way up, right? So it'll give more consistent grip through the height of the thing. The only thing is, I don't know how well that will grip. Like I said, if I had thicker rubber of this type, that would be better. I don't have any right now. It'd probably be easy enough for me to get it, but I want to work with what I have. I want to settle on a solution right now. And from my perspective, this is the best one. Okay? I like the simplicity of this, although it does take a while to cut out these discs perfectly because they have to be exactly the same size as these discs here. They can't be bulging, like they can't be sticking out, or the thing won't go on. Like it'll catch it a little bit, okay, and try to pull it down, which is no good. All right, so yeah, I think this is the one. This is the one I'm going to test. So, and if I find that this doesn't have enough of a grip, then 2 of these, perhaps, right? So you got one down here. And none of this gets glued together, by the way. It's just free, like that. And one up here, and then the 1/2 inch. So you got one on the top, one on the bottom, and they'll hold it. All right, but the only thing is, it takes a while to make these discs properly and get them perfect. So that's another thing that will turn people off, right? Because they have to be a really good fit. Where's that sleeve again? They have to be a really good snug fit. See, the sleeve goes on there without any slack, right? But it still comes off freely. So you're not like forcing it on. That's how precisely these discs are made. And I had to do them like 3 times, these ones, to get it right. That pinwheel one, I had to do 4 times. Like I made it way oversized to begin with, and I snuck up on the correct size for it to fit on there. And then you push it on, it goes all the way down, you tighten it up, and that has a really good grip, right, on the thing. So I think that's where I'm going with it. I think that's the one I'm going to use.
This notion, though, that you can just sort of send checks out to everybody and things will be fine is not true. Some people have this absurd view that the economy is like some magic horn of plenty. Just break it to the fools out there. If you don't make stuff, there's no stuff.